Hi, hello, and welcome to episode 21 of the Knitting Esquire, a YouTube channel all about my knitting and crafting adventures. My name is Candace, and you can find me over on Instagram as Candace Sue ESQ Knits and on Ravelry as the Knitting ESQ. I am coming to you from Orlando, Florida, where I live with my husband and our two children. For all of those new viewers, I am an attorney, and knitting is my passion, as well as collecting yarn. I find that those are two different things. Obviously, the yarn on the wall behind me is part of my stash collection, and I have plenty more, but I love just the way that it looks on the wall. It's a beautiful art. So, without further ado, why don't we go ahead and dive right in. I will make sure that all of my notes are down below in the description box. You can find all of my contact information. All of my project Ravelry pages will be down there, as well as any of the makers that I talk about in today's episode. So, finished objects. I have only 3. It's been a minute since I last recorded, and truthfully, I just think I haven't found enough motivation to just want to finish things, but I have found the motivation to cast on probably too many projects. I've also noticed that my attention had been slightly taken by one particular project, and it's a large one, so it takes a little bit of time to get through a row, and I just couldn't put it down, and so that definitely distracted me from sock knitting. So with all of that said, why don't we just go ahead and talk about finished object number 1, which is a pair of socks. This yarn I got from when we had Distaff Day here in early January. It is a local vendor, and it is String Theory. And this is in the colorway W49B, and it's on their Photon base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina base. You can even kind of see it sparkle in there. There's a little sparkle. And I will say the color is probably a little bit, I don't want to say necessarily blown out, but it is a little bit more saturated. Like this teal color is not quite so vibrant bright, but it is like a deeper, saturated teal color. And then this looks very pink, but it's more of like a magenta. So it still is pretty good representation, and I just loved that there was this black with white speckles in this colorway. These socks are knit using the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla sock pattern for 9-inch circulars. I use Addy Turbo Rockets, which are technically a 10-inch circular, only because you get a little bit of extra needle length on one of the needles. But I find that even when I do 56 stitches for socks, you get a good, it gets on the needles, on the circumference, and I have never had any issues. So, for those of you that haven't tried smaller circumference needles, maybe because the needle tips are just too short, I recommend the Addy Turbo Rockets. I just couldn't get behind Magic Loop. I can't get the laddering to stop, and it just bothers me. So too much cord in there. So these are knit using a 20 rounds for the cuff. It's a 2x2 rib, standard slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, which is the same for all of the socks that I talk about today. And then just the standard rounded toe that's in the Crazy Sock Ladies pattern. So I don't know if I'm on track at this point. We'll have to see for meeting my goal. I still have plenty of time to make it up. I think I'm pretty close for my 25 for 2025, which is where I want to knit 25 pairs of socks. For 2025, I knit at least 24 pairs of socks last year for 2024. So my goal was to make that happen again this year. So I guess after I look at all of my notes here and see where I'm at, we can determine whether or not I'm really on track or not. So I started these socks on January 30th, just before I had, I think they were a whip in my last episode, and I finished them on February 11th. So these ones I actually got done in a good pace, about my normal time that I find myself knitting a pair of socks. I think I just really enjoyed the striping and the cool effects that this yarn really does make. So that is pair number 1 for this episode. However, this is pair number 4 for 25 of 2025. I think that touches base on all of the information for those socks. So we will move on to the second pair for today's episode. And these, I might have shown the yarn as part of procurement last time. Can't remember. Otherwise, I've received the yarn and knit the yarn in the time that I've not recorded, which is a bad podcaster of me. I just feel like, and I feel like I say this every time, I'm a broken record, but I talk about socks a lot, and I don't know if that's boring. I like to knit a lot of socks, but I do like to share a lot of the yarn that I buy. But I don't know. Hopefully you find some inspiration in what I share. But I do feel like all I talk about is socks because I knit a lot of socks. Okay, so my next pair is yarn done by Mama Jess Knits. I love her yarn. I am getting all of her mystery sock yarns each month. I have a bunch that need to be knit that I haven't knit yet, but they're beautiful. And so she had posted a picture a while ago of this pair, and I think I talked about this. I do think I talked about this, of this pair of socks, and it was beautiful. And I said, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. And then, like, I don't know, a few minutes later or whatever, she told me that she had DM'd me and told me that she had posted some in her shop, and I immediately went and purchased it because she's a bad influence by making such beautiful yarn. So that being said, this is on her her sock base, or her fingering base. I don't know if she actually has a name for her fingering base versus her DK weight, but this is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and the main color is called Valentine's, and the mini color here, which looks a little orange, but it's definitely like a beautiful pink. Think about cherry chapstick lip, like the label on it, because the name of this colorway is cherry chapstick. So let's see if I can. Yeah, it just is not coming out like right on this. And then this, it's funny because like the lighter color definitely is. It's very soft pink with these beautiful pink speckles. But this is definitely more pink than it is looking kind of orangey red here. I would say that it kind of, I mean, you can even see like in this speckle here is probably a pretty similar color because it's kind of doing the same tint there. So I apologize for that, but it's a beautiful colorway. There's pictures on my Ravelry. There's also pictures all over Mama Jess's, her Instagram. And I think she's actually, I think in her last podcast, her most recent one, was she knitting a pair of these for one of her daughters, or she just started a pair for one of her daughters? And so you can go and see her updates on that there. Again, 20-inch or 20 round cuff, 2x2 rib, heel flapping gusset, standard toe. And this is the Crazy Sock Ladies Vanilla Sock pattern, size small, 56 stitches. Also knit on the Addy Turbo Rockets, and I use a size 1 or a 2.25 millimeter needle. These I started on February 12th, and I finished them on February 22nd, and this makes pair number 5 for 25 of 2025. And then my last pair to share with you that's completed. See, I should have more than 3 pairs of socks done since I last shared with you, but I don't. I need to get on it. So these ones are fun. I started these on February 11th as well. See, I'm having fun casting on. It's just getting them done. I have put a little bit of a time, like a self-imposed deadline, for what I'm doing with these socks. And so I will share that with you once I share the socks with you. I'm just getting them on the sock blockers here so you can get a good look. Okay, so these are wild and crazy fun. And I think I might have shared the yarn with you last time. Oh, look at how crazy cool those are. So I am getting the Row 1 mini subscriptions, and you get 10 10-gram minis each month, and they're done by different dyers. They're promoted by different dyers, and so it's just kind of a fun way to test out some new dyers and get some really fun scrappy yarns. And so what I have decided to do is make a pair every month out of the Row 1 minis of scrappy socks like this. And I am consistently doing just 10 colors all the way. So I like to do a 60 row leg. And so I do 6 rounds of each color, which is 10 colors. And then when I get down to the gusset and then down into the foot here, I've calculated out specifically how many rounds I usually do before I start the toe, and then I just divided it by those colorways. And so usually what I do is for the first 3 down here, I do 8 rounds of each color, and then I start doing 7 rounds through the end here. So my gusset is 8 rounds of each color. That gets me through the gusset, and then 7 rounds until I start the toe. And then I've decided that I'm going to use some scraps. This is from Goosey Fibers. It's one of her Audubon colors, but I am using some leftovers from, I don't think it's the shawl behind me. I think it's the shawl that I knit for my mother-in-law. I had some very neutrally leftovers. I also have a box of bare yarn from Knit Picks that once I use up these scraps like this, I'll start to utilize those bears. And I just think the bare yarn being so bland is a great way to just add for the cuff, the toes, and the heel. And so again, Vanilla Socks by the Crazy Sock Lady, 56 stitches, using the US 1 2.25 millimeter Addy Turbo Rockets, a 20 round cuff with a 2x2 ribbing, and then the standard heel flap and gusset, and the toes from the pattern from the Crazy Sock Lady. And so this particular yarn that was showcased for February is Stunning String Studio, and this is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base. And I definitely did not put the colors in order, but they even have little labels on each one that tell you what the name of the colorways are. So I have been at least writing those down so I know, but I did not write them down in order, but that's okay. So I think I shared with you already my January pair, which is up there. And then I will share with you my March pair, which is almost done. So I have a hoe and maybe 4 more colors, I think, left on the toe before I finish that. So my self-imposed deadline for my Row 1 subscription is to knit at least the pair of socks for the month and use that all up. So I've consistently been getting the Row 1 mini sent probably by the 5th or 6th of the month. And then my goal is to have them done by the end of the month. So that made pair number 6 for 25 of 2025. And so those I started on February 11th and finished on February 28th. So with that being my final pair for the month of February and 6 pairs of socks, that's 3 pairs a month. So I should be on track to completing my socks. But you know what? I lied. I did have another pair of socks. I can't share them with you. I should be able to insert a picture here. If not, I'll make sure to have the Ravelry project below. Okay, I thought I had done more, and I did. So there, bonus for today. My boss at work, for her birthday, I had knit her a pair of socks, and she has talked about those socks since I knit them for her. And that, as you probably know as a knitter, is like the biggest compliment. She says she wears them almost every day. She doesn't wash them every day, she said, because she doesn't want to like wear them out. And so then by the time that they're getting ready to wash, she's like, they just feel like the comfiest slippers around the house. They start off as like these nice tight socks, and then they're comfy slippers. And so I thought that she deserved another pair of socks, so that way she can alternate and have comfy pair of socks. So I knit, I had some scraps, so I just threw some scraps together that I thought would be really good for her. And so I knit her a pair of socks, again, just vanilla socks, the Crazy Sock Ladies pattern, and the same method, 20 rounds for the cuff, 2x2 ribbing, heel flap, the slip stitch heel flap, and gusset. And I did those on... It was a crazy beautiful colorway from Emma's Yarns, and it's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I had started those on February 28th and finished them on March 7th. I was just like trying to crush those out and get those out of there. So I did do 4 pairs of socks since I last talked to you, and that made pair number 7 for 25 of 2025. So I think I truly am on my way to meeting that goal that I've put out there. So hopefully I make some good progress on that. So that really does wrap up my finished objects for the month, for the episode. So that's okay, I guess. But let's move into my works in progress, and talk about those, and then you can see that I've gone a little cast on crazy. I took those socks off those blockers, and I shouldn't have, because I still need to take pictures of them. We'll do that in a little bit. Okay, so whip number 1 is living in my Winnie the Pooh bag that I've made myself. I think most of the bags that I have my projects in, I've made them all. I don't do them to, sell or anything. I just find yarn I do find yarn that I love, but I also find fabrics that I love. I'm especially keen toward Tulip Pink, and I happen to have like a stash of Tulip Pink, like I have a stash of yarn. I just need more time to do all my crafting. So, okay. I've found that if I tie in my ends as I go with these scrappy socks, I'm a little bit more efficient, and I think that by the end I feel better than having to then go in and weave in all of the ends that these scrappy socks make. So March's row 1 set is from the Yarnsmith, and they have some beautiful colorways here, but here is the first finished sock. I don't want to put it on a blocker, so I will just share it with you up close. Again, the heel, cuff, and toe is the scraps from the Goosey Fibers. And then we just have like this fun colors here. So color 1, the light purple is 2, 3, 4 is the green. And there we go. And then this little green and yellow, pink, a little bit mauve, then some transitions. And then these ones are actually coming off pink in here, but they're actually like this beautiful, like autumny orange. And then again, just started it down to the toe. And for these, I actually found a tutorial on the Crazy Sock Lady's web YouTube page about how she does her scrappy socks, and she just actually ties them in like this and says that she's never had any issues with washing. So I'm trying this for the first time to see how that works. So I will let you know. I am this far into sock number 2, so I'm almost there in my progress here. And I actually messed these ones up. I skipped a color, so I'm just going to throw it in my next thing. It may not look right, but again, they're scrappy, so that's okay with me. At this point, I'm really just looking forward to getting these done. I also ran out of the scrap yarn on my heels here, so I found another one that was pretty close. It was part of the same shawl, but they are, now I'll try and show you, they are still, they're different. See how this one's got, the heel has some speckles, whereas this one was more of just a straight light pink. So close enough, good enough for who they're for. I will still enjoy them. And I'm looking forward to getting through the next 3 colors. And so when I am done with my row 1 minis, I have just been kind of collecting them in this Ziploc bag for now. So this is everything February, January, and the few Marches that I've already knit up. And I think what I might do is add them to my Cozy Memories blanket. So make them into squares, and then whatever I have left, I think I might either do a scrappy muscle burrow hat, or the Crazy Sock Lady and Lisa over at 72 Stitches has inspired me to cast on just a tube scarf. Not that I need one in Florida, but it's just like a way to use up your scraps. And so I think that I might do that with my leftovers here. So we'll see. But for now, I'm just collecting them, and I'll deal with those later. So that is works in progress number 1. And I started those socks on March 7th. So as you can see, very slow going for me on these scrappy socks. This week I had given myself a deadline to make sure that they are done. And I was at the cuff on Sunday, and I've gotten that far this week. So that's kind of been my push forward on those. The next 2 pairs I have living in this very fun tulip pink Mad Hatter bag that I've made. It's dirty, sorry. And it's got this fun striping in the inside there. So the first pair, I also have a hoe. And so let me turn this right side out so I can share it with you. This yarn is a homespun house, and it is the Happy Birthday Voldemort, which is from the Happy Birthday Hogwarts collection that they did. I think they're all done with it. It was last year's, and so I got a few of the colorways in there. This is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base, and it is the squishiest, softest 75%, 25% base I've ever knit with. So it almost feels like an 85-15. It's that like soft and squishy. Again, a Crazy Sock Lady vanilla socks, 20 rounds for the cuff, which is the mini here, and they're very close, but the cuff is definitely a bit darker in the colorway here. And then the actual socks themselves is just this beautiful like green and black and white, and then there's like these flecks of bright pink in there. And then I did the heel in the main color, and then I just did the toes and the cuff in the mini. So that is, I had cast these on because I needed movie knitting socks, and so that's kind of what they've taken up for me. So I cast on very quickly. We went and saw like The Death of a Unicorn, I think is what it was called, the new Paul Rudd movie. It's stupid, but it's really good. So we went and saw that on Monday night, and I didn't have any, like, just plain vanilla socks because with those scrappy socks, I was going to have to switch. So I quickly cast on the second cuff, knit that within like 45 minutes before the movie started. And then I got through this many rounds. It was like an hour and a half movie. And then I put it down probably halfway through because I was intrigued with the movie. So this is as far as I've gotten on sock number 2, but it is started. Again, US 2.25 needles on my Addy Turbo Rockets, and I cast these on March 7th. I don't think between those, I might be able to get this done this weekend, but I'm not going to force it. So working on it, it'll get done soon. Once I finish those, I'll probably focus on this. So that is works in progress sock number 2. And then I was watching, actually, I think I actually first really saw this on Instagram. I follow Kayla, the crazy sock lady, on Instagram, and she had posted a picture of her knitting these mahogany run socks, and then she did her podcast and showed them, and they were beautiful. I just loved how simple but like lacy elegant they looked, and so I thought, I have some really pretty like light colored yarn that I think would just show off the lace pattern from the mahogany run socks beautifully. And so I cast these on March 14th. I'm just to the first heel, so these are a little bit slower for me. But again, 20 rounds for the cuff, 2x2 ribbing, and okay, sorry about that. Okay. Where was I? Mahogany run socks, US 2.25 needles, millimeter needles, and I've picked out like a little dainty, elegant sock colorway that I have, and I just thought it would really highlight the pattern of this sock beautifully. I'm also using I think this is a Charmed and Dangerous charm. So cute. And so here is the pattern. And this is a Fangirl Fibers colorway. This was from the Gilmore Girls 2022 club. And this was from season 4, episode 1, which is called Ice Cream Queen. If you are a Gilmore Girls fan, you know that this is when Rory is on her way to Yale, and Taylor wants her to be the ice cream queen, and she just can't do it. And so I just thought that this is a great colorway, and it is just really showing that pattern so well. And these have just been so much fun to knit. So I will get through these. I started these on March 14th, so it hasn't been too long. 2 weeks is, I probably should have had these done. But anyway, you can see I have cast on a lot. But that is sock pair number 3. Now, while I've also cast on all of these socks, I have also found myself very intrigued with this project again. And so this is living in my Bags by Awesome Granny jellyfish. And it's a pretty large bag here. It had 6 skeins of DK weight yarn plus the actual project in here. And it's also got the notebook because I started this project last year. And it's just been something that's been hanging out, but I've found myself wanting to finish it. Actually, Jess from Mama Jess Knits is also knitting one, and now the Crazy Sock Lady started knitting one as well. So this is my favorite reading shawl by Kay Jones from the Bakery Bears, and I've showed this before, and I can show you that the last time I shared this, I was at the stitch marker. So this is, let me back up. This is the project, and it's large. It's very large, and I'm not even halfway there. I don't think. 1, 2, 3. Nope, I just made it halfway. So I started, sorry, I was sitting on the needle. I've started colorway number 4 down here. There's a lot of stitches on the needle, so it's going to be hard for me to like really show you this. I've started the 4th skein, and I've decided to do it by blocking. So I'm not, this is actually made for an advent where you would do the color and then put a neutral and then do the colors. I have just decided that I had all of this Magpie Fiber Society yarn, and it's DK, and I knew I wasn't going to, I don't use a whole lot of DK yarn. And you get 2 skeins per color, so I still have a skein of each color left that I can use in the future. But I thought that the yarn is just, it's beautiful. It's on their Swanky DK, which is an 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon base. And so it is just squish and soft, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic when it's done. It just feels like the coziest blanket. But the last time I shared with you, I was here, so I had all of that done. I have since knit this plus this color right here is a whole skein, 250 yards, and I'm into the next one this far. So, you know, knitting through a whole skein of yarn is where my brain went, and I just couldn't stop putting this down. So now that I've talked about it, I can move my stitch marker again, so the next time that I share it with you, you knew where I was. But that means I have now 1, 2, 3 complete. I'm into the 4th, so I have what, maybe 2 3/4 left of skeins to finish, and then this project will be done. So I hadn't decided if I was going to just knit to where she says like the 573 stitches or whatever that you need before you start a bind off on this, but or if I would just make it through the last skein and then start the picot edging, or just enough to do the picot edging in the last color. So I haven't fully decided what I want to do with that yet. We'll see. It may be enough yarn to get there and do what I need to do. I did measure it out based off of the calculated amount of yarn that she said you needed. But you just, you know, there's usually a little extra or whatever. So I will figure that out when I get that far, but I don't have to think about that yet. So I'm also knitting this on size 7 US needles, and these are my Knit Picks Coco Bolo. Knit Picks doesn't make these anymore, but these are like the best wooden needles. I love wooden needles for like garment knitting, and I love my Addies for sock knitting. So highly recommend if you can find them. I had actually broken one of my needles, and my husband found a set on eBay for me, and so we bought it. But yeah, I love my Coco Bolos. So that is my final work in progress that I've been picking up and knitting. And so yeah, that's what I've been working on. I have a ton, probably a gluttonous amount of procurements to share with you. So I will try to do this in a fashion where I'm not showing you one at a time because there's quite a bit, but I do have some fun stuff to share. So let's go into procurements and then we can wrap things up. So I had already been sharing with you that I was getting the Mandy's Makings princess colorways, and so I got the last three colorways. So this would be January, February, and March, right? March, yeah, January, February, and March. And so the collection for the year is done, and I have all of them except one. I think I missed Merida. Sad. I should see her if she has any extra. So I don't know which order. I think it was Rapunzel, Aurora, and then Snow White, but it could have been Aurora, Rapunzel, but I know Snow White was for sure March. So these are the three. This one is actually like red. It's Snow White. So this is blue, red, and yellow. And then Aurora is this beautiful pink and yellow. And then Rapunzel is this lovely purple and yellow. You got the hair in there, right? So, I haven't decided what I want to do with all of my Disney princesses yet. I don't know if I want to try and combine them in something or if I just do a pair of socks for each one and then use leftovers. With Mandy Making's other set, she had a Wizard of Oz set one year. I did a pair of socks for each month, and then I started using all of the scraps in an anthology throw, which I should probably pick back up and get those completed, but I haven't done that. So I'll get there when I get there, but those are that. And then I have my mystery colorways for March and February from Mama Jess Knits. So March is called Cherry Blossoms and Bluebirds. And this is just absolutely beautiful. I think April's might still be open. So if you are interested, you can hop over there and see if you can order April's. Otherwise, May's should be posted soon. She usually posts at the beginning of the month for the next month. And then February's is called February Flowers in Greener Grass. And this green is so great. I love how bright and vibrant it is. And the purple, like amethysty, flowery color is just beautiful. And then 3 by the Seas. Oh, I'm getting through it, so I only have a few left. And the other ones I will show as a true collection. They're in plastic, so I apologize in advance, but when I get there, I want to keep them together. So 3 by the Sea Designs had their spring collection roll out, and they did this colorway, I think, last year. And I missed it, and I'm glad that they brought it back because it is phenomenal. It's called Tea in Wonderland, and I did this on their Amelia base, which is their Stellina. It's a 75% superwash, 20% nylon, 5% silver Stellina, and it is very... Look at, you can see the Stellina in all of it. It's just fantastic. So I love that there's some speckling in the black and white down here. I love that it looks like tie-dye. And I love, love, love that it came with this sparkly black mini. So I cannot wait. This will probably be one of my next sock cast-ons. I'm just really excited about that. And then last but not least, it is the Backyard Chicken Time by Hue Loco. I think I have done this collection for the last 3 years. This might be 4th year, or this is the 3rd year. Anyway, I've done them. I do them all. I get all 4 chickens and all 4 roosters. This year, I was so happy. Instead of having to wait weekly and order each one weekly and pay shipping for each one for 8 weeks, she decided to release them all at once. For the chickens, 1 week, and then the following week, she did all of the roosters. And they shipped so quick. I think that they're still in her shop. And she's now doing like a mystery one. I think it's kind of like a mystery one, but for the next 4 weeks on every Friday, there's like extra collection for the chickens. I'm not doing those ones, but I did do the standard chicken collections. So sorry for the crinkles in advance. This is the hen collection. So we have the Amber Link is here. The next one here is the Lavender Silky. This one is the Lemon Pile Brahma Hen. And then last but not least is the Dorking Hen. And so they come with 2 coordinating minis and then the 100-gram skein. And I just love my chickens. And then the roosters are equally as good. So we have sorry, I hit the microphone. We have the Java rooster here on the end. Then this one here with the red and the green is the, which one is this? Trying to do elimination. There's a sticker on the back. Should have just took them out. This one is the Cerama. Then the next one over is the Yokohama rooster. And then this one at the end is the white crested blue polish rooster. And so trying to get them without too much glare. There are all of the roosters by Hugh Loco. So I will get these out and hung up with the rest of my roosters and hens. But that is the yarn that I have collected. It is also Advent purchasing season. So I have done some damage on my bank account. Not only is it Christmas Advent, I know Freckled Whimsy's 24 color stripe self-striping sock is coming out on the 1st of April, I think is when it's being released for Christmas. And then all of the July Advents are coming out now too. And so I did do the Pegasus minis, the Pegasus ponies by Yarn Cafe Creations in her Stellina base. So I will add those to my other projects that I started from last year. And then I got the Polka Dot Creek Canadian Dyer Charlie Brown Advent. I'm so excited for that one. And the Ruby and Roses Advent I'd already purchased, and then I will wait for Freckled Whimsy, and I need to see if Goosey Fibers is doing anything this year. I haven't seen her drop any hints, and I don't know what Yarn Cafe Creations and Dragon Horde Yarn are doing. I don't know if they're doing a collaboration or what they're doing, so I would like to see what they're doing and decide if I need 4 Advents this year. I just love all of the colors, and I don't want to miss out. It's a problem. So it is Advent season. If you have any good Advents that you're looking forward to, I would love to hear about them. I love looking at them and then, making a decision on what I want to do. But if you could just go ahead and drop me a comment on like your favorite Advents, I would love to go and research them. I know that generally, I think Nitty Natty puts together like a list of all of the Advents, and I think that Amy from Happy Little Yarn also does like an Advent list. So yeah, I would love to hear what you're working on, and I would love to hear what Advents you might be thinking about purchasing. And if you have any questions about Advents or what they are or what people do with them, let me know. I would be happy to throw some ideas up here about what I do with my advents. Sometimes they sit like that's the Winnie the Pooh one from last year from Goosey Fibers. I have a project specifically for it. I just haven't started it. And I don't like to open them until I actually get to use them. So then it's a surprise why I use it. So I will eventually get to that. Amongst my other projects, because hey, look, I'm in a cast on mood, so maybe I'll just cast on something else. It's my hobby, my knitting, and I'll do what I want. So I guess I will wrap that up for today. I would love to hear from you. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell. It will notify you when I decide to finally drop a new episode. At this point, I can't tell you when the next one will be. I've been trying to get my mojo going, and so I finally had some mojo to record today. So hopefully, maybe I will get some extra mojo soon. So I hope that your knitting is bringing you all of the happiness and joy, and that you are well. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.